A very good day to you, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's mathematical literacy lesson. My name is Mampani Kekana. The lesson is proudly brought to you by Pagama and the Gauteng Department of Education. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back once more from your winter holidays. We are going to continue with our lessons. So today we are going to focus on measuring weight and mass. And then we're also going to look at how to interpret the growth charts. So, you know, boys and girls, it's very, very, very important that in each and every subtopic or section, we need to know the expectations. Okay, we need to know what is expected of us. So in this lesson, we're going to look at the following. So you should be able to define relevant terminologies in measuring mass and weight. Then you must also be able to determine weight, mass, using appropriate measurement instrument. You should also be able to use recorded weight, mass data together with recorded length, height data to calculate body mass index, and also be able to determine the weight status for adults. You must also be able to calculate values using a formula involving mass or weight. Okay, boys and girls, you must remember that the two terms weight and mass in mathematical literacy, we use the two terms as one thing, okay? So in mathematical literacy, when we talk about weight or mass, we are referring to the same thing because actually the weight is the most common weight that we use on daily basis. So when we talk about weight and mass, we are referring to the same thing. Now, very important again, we need to know the terminologies. Very, very important because the examiner can ask you to define terminologies. And then the other thing, it's obvious, you cannot be working with something, but you don't know how to define it. You cannot be working with BMI, but when we ask you to define it, you can't define it. You cannot be working with height, but when we ask you to define it, you can't define it. So each and every terminology, each and every concept that you are working with in MathLit, it's very, very important that you should be able to define it. Now, some of the terminologies that we are going to encounter in this lesson, the first one obviously is BMI. We need to know how to define BMI. BMI is an individual body mass divided by the square of their height. It's an individual body mass divided by the square of their height. And then the unit for BMI is, of course, kilogram per square meter. Kilogram per square meter. So the other thing that is important, we are not that strict in mathematical literacy, especially when you do definition, when you write down the definitions. What is important is the definition must be relevant. The definition must be relevant. Okay, and then height. Okay, now there should be something that comes into your mind when you hear the word height, the way you understand it. So, but the expectation is your definition should be measurement of object or someone. So in other words, we're looking at the measurement of an object or someone from top to bottom. Unit of height, it's always in meters, centimeters, inches, foot, and so on and so on. Okay, and then again, growth chart. We'll be working with growth chart as well. So you must also be able to define the weight or the weight growth charts. Growth charts are graphs consisting of a series of percentile curves that show the distribution of growth measurements of children. Okay, growth charts are graphs consisting of a series of percentile curves that show the distribution of the growth measurements of children. Then again, length. Okay, in some cases we use length instead of height. So the definition of length is measurement of object or someone from end to end. Remember, with the height, we said from top to bottom, but with the length, it's end to end. Now, remember, when someone is standing up straight, obviously it will be the height, but when someone is lying down, then in that case, we'll refer that to as a length. Okay, so the length again can also be measured in meters, centimeters, inches, and also foot. Okay, and then we've got mass or weight. Mass or weight, what do we mean, or what do you understand by the word mass or weight? Is an indication of how heavy an object is, and the unit of mass are milligrams, grams, kilograms, ounces, and pounds, and so on and so on. Okay, so those are the definitions or the terminologies that you're going to encounter during the course of this lesson. Okay. Now, again, when we talk about measuring weight or mass, we must also think of an instrument. What instrument are we using to measure weight or mass? Okay. Now, most of you should be familiar with this instrument, that is a bathroom scale. A bathroom scale, so most of you should be familiar with this one. Now, a bathroom scale, we've got this one of an analog, which is a traditional one, the analog bathroom scale. So this one, if you look at it, it's a scale that has no electronic devices attached to it, and then it uses a dial to indicate the amount of mass or weight. It uses a dial to indicate the amount of mass or weight. So this is the most common one or the traditional one. So we've got the other type of bathroom scale, which is a digital bathroom scale. So as you can look at this one, as you can see this one, you will see that it is a scale that has electronic devices on it, like digital or LCD screens, okay, or LCD screen. Okay, so in this case, the LCD screen, it reads and displays the weight in digital form. It reads and displays the weight in digital form. So that means we've got two types of bathroom scales. We've got the analog one, and we also have the digital. So what is important in your case is you should be able to read what is displayed there. Okay. Then I want us to look at the questions that are related to weight or mass. Okay. The first question, question 1, this one was taken from Siyavula textbook. It's John applied for a job as a flight attendant, but was told that he had to lose at least 5 kilograms before he met their maximum weight allowance, so that the plane full of passengers, luggage, and fuel is not too heavy and could reapply. Very, very important. You must also read, boys and girls. Very, very important that if you don't understand the scenario, even if it means you read it more than once, please do it. Then the first question there is, if John weighed 85 kilograms at the time he applied for the job, what is the maximum weight that he can weigh in order to reapply for the job? If John weighed 85 kilograms at the time that he applied for the job, what is the maximum weight that he can weigh in order to reapply the job? Okay, so if you read the scenario there, you can see that he was told that he must lose 5 kilograms. Okay, so his weight is 85 kilograms, but he was told to lose at least 5 kilograms. So it means in this case, we must reduce the 85 kilograms. So it must be 85 kilograms minus 5 kilograms. So that the answer is 80 kilograms. 80 kilograms. So it means his weight must be reduced by 5 kilograms. So he's now going to weigh 80 kilograms. Okay, so the maximum weight that you can weigh is, in order to reapply, it's 80. Anything more than 80 kilogram, it would not be accepted. Okay, then B. John weighs 78 kilogram when he weighs himself after 6 months. Do you think he can reapply for the job? Explain your answer. John weighs 78 when he weighs himself after 6 months. Do you think he can reapply for the job? Explain your answer. Right. Now, if we go back to the first question, question number A, you will see that he was told to reduce his weight by 5 kilograms. So that means the maximum is 80 kilograms. Okay, now, after 6 months, he now weighs 78 kilograms. Do you think he can reapply for the job? The answer, of course, is yes. Okay, because this is still below the required weight. This is below the maximum. The maximum is 80, but he weighs less than 80 kilograms. So this one is yes, because he weighs more than the minimum. Actually, it's still below the minimum. His weight is below the minimum. Okay. His weight is still below the maximum, not the minimum. Right. So the answer is yes. His weight is below the minimum. Okay. Then the next question that is also related to weight and mass. So this one is Annabelle weighs herself once a week at the same time of day wearing similar clothes for 2 months and records the following measurements. Okay. Now, very important, they say in this case, wearing same clothes. Remember, the weight of the clothes can also have an effect on a person's weight. Okay. So that is why they emphasize that they will be wearing or should be wearing the same clothes for 2 months and records the following measurements. Okay, there we've got the measurements. The 1st of February, 65.5 kilograms. And then the 7th of February, 65.9. On the 14th, 65.2. And then on the 21st of February, 64.6. On the 1st of March, 65.8. On the 7th of March, 65.0. On the 14th, 65.1. And then on the 21st, 64.5. So you must also read the information that is in the table. The first question, that question 2A, what is the difference between her weight on the 1st of February and 21st of March? What is the difference? Now, difference in this case, when we calculate, we know that we have to subtract. We have to take the big value and then we subtract the small value. Okay, so that is for the 1st of February. The 1st of February is 65.5 kilogram, and then on the 21st of March it's 64.5. Then now when we calculate the difference, we get 65.5 kilograms minus 64.5 kilograms. So the difference is, if you take your calculator, so very important, if you take a calculator, say 65.5 minus 64.5, then you get 1 kilogram. The difference is 1 kilogram. Okay, so the difference between her weight on the 1st of February and 21st of March is 1 kilogram. But you can see that on the 21st, she was weighing 1 kilogram less. So that is 1 kilogram less. Okay, still on the very same question. It's by how much did her weight increase between 21st of February and 1st of March? By how much did her weight increase between 21st of February and the 1st of March. Now we have to check if indeed there was an increase there. That is, on the 21st, it was 64.6, and then on the 1st, it was 65.8. So there's an increase, but they want to know by how much did her weight increase. So we still have to calculate the difference. So it must be 65.8 minus 64.6. So 65 for the 1st of March minus, 65.8 for the 1st of March minus 64.6 for the 21st of February. So if you take your calculator, is 65.8 minus 64.6, then we get 1.2 kilogram. So remember, when you do the subtraction, you can just subtract the values, and then the answer must have a unit. So that is the answer for question 2B. Then question 2C is give two possible explanations for why her weight went up suddenly on the 1st of March. Give two possible explanations for why her weight went up suddenly on the 1st of March. Okay, now boys and girls, when we come to reasoning, we can all have different reasons again, but your reasoning must also be relevant. Very, very important. Your reasoning must always be important, relevant, I mean. So obviously, when they say why the weight went up, there should be something that comes into your mind. Okay, and then if it makes sense, you just write it down. So in this case, there could be many possible reasons. Okay, so one of the reasons is maybe she ate too much. Okay, she ate too much. It could be one of the possible reasons. Okay, and then maybe if she was exercising, and then in this case is maybe she stopped exercising. Okay, or any other possible reason that you can think of. So for now, I can think of this. Maybe she ate a lot of junk food, or maybe if she was exercising, she had stopped exercising, or any other reason. Okay, then question 3, it's about calculating BMI. So BMI, there the formula is given. Okay, now remember, in this case of BMI, we've got the formula BMI equals to weight over height squared. Let me start by explaining that in this formula, we've got 3 unknowns. We've got BMI, we've got weight, and we've got height. So if you've got 3 unknowns, it means they can ask you to calculate any one of the 3. They can ask you to calculate any one of the 3. If they ask you to calculate BMI, there should be somehow the value of weight and height given. So if they can ask you to calculate BMI, somehow the values of weight and height would be given. And then we have to make sure that the value of the weight, it's in kilograms, and the value of the height is in meters. Okay, sometimes they can ask you to calculate the weight, right? If you have to calculate the weight, it means the value of the BMI and the value of the height must somehow be given. The value of the BMI and the height somehow must be given. If they have to ask you to calculate the height, somehow the value of the BMI and the value of the weight must also be given. Okay, so you must just remember that. So it won't always be about BMI, but it can be about any one of the 3. Okay, now in this question, if we read is, Sipho would like to get fit over the school holidays. He currently weighs 70 kilograms. There is the information, 70 kilograms, and is 1.65 meters tall. Question 3a, BMI, which stands for body mass index, is given by the formula as I've just explained. Then is calculate SIPO's BMI. Now we have to check. The weight is given is 70 kilogram. So the weight is in kilograms, and the height is also in meters. So in this case, we can just easily do the substitution. Then we say BMI, it's equals to, the weight is 70. Then we divide by the height. If you look at the formula there, the formula is the height, which must be in meters, and then we square it. Already our height is in meters, so we say 1,65, and then we square it. Okay, you can still put it in brackets if you want to, it's fine, but in the end the answer will be the same. 70 divided by 1,65 squared. Remember, the square is only for the height, not for the weight and the height. Okay, then after the substitution, you can use your calculator. It's 70 divided by 1.65 squared. Then I get 25.7. Okay, I get 25.7. So it's 25.7 is actually 1166 and so on and so on. Okay, 25.71166. So usually we know we'll be expected to leave it with at least one decimal place or two decimal places. Okay, BMI. Now remember, it was not even necessary to indicate the units there when we do the substitution. What we know is our answer will be in kilogram per square meter. So we must just indicate the unit. Okay, so the first thing which was very important was to make sure that our weight is in kilograms and then our height is in meters. Then we do the substitution. From there we get the answer. Now, boys and girls, it's very important that whatever I'm calculating here, you also calculate it. Okay, so that you can see that you are also getting exactly the same answer. Okay, for in case if you're struggling, and then you can ask someone who's sitting next to you, or you can ask your teacher to show you how to do it. Okay, so that you don't struggle when you get into a test or an examination. So it's very important that when I do the calculations, you also do them using your own calculator. You might be using a different calculator, so just make sure that you know the procedure of how to key in everything that is indicated there. Right, so that is question 3. BMI is 25.71 kilogram per square meter. Okay, and then this is the continuation of question 3. It's alongside is an infographic describing different BMIs. Where does SIPO fall on his scale? Remember, boys and girls, the purpose of calculating BMI is to check your weight status or your health status. BMI is the one that will tell us if your weight status is acceptable or not. Like if you look at this infographic, you will see that the first one says if your BMI is less than 18.5, remember we've got different mass, or we've got different weights, and we also have different heights. So in most cases, your BMI is calculated based on your own weight and your own height. Okay, then from there, we'll be able to see that whether you are underweight or normal. But if I go back to this one, you will see that whenever you calculate BMI, remember this is for 20-year-olds and older males. That means from 20 years and upward, up to whatever age. So it means we cannot necessarily use the very same one for anyone below the age of 20. But if a person is above the age of 20, so it means we can use this. So if I go back to this, okay, so in this case, they didn't actually specify. Okay, so I just want to go back. Okay, yeah, we're still busy with this one, question 3. Yeah, so this one shows if a BMI of any person from 20 years and above, if the BMI is 18.5, that person will be regarded as underweight. And then if the BMI is from 18.5 to 24.9, then that person's weight will be regarded as normal. Then if the BMI is from 25 to 29.9, that person's weight will be regarded as overweight. And then if a person's BMI is from 30 to 34.9, that person's weight will be regarded as obese. Okay, so that means it's actually more than overweight. Then if the BMI is bigger than 35 kilogram per square meter, that person will be regarded as extremely obese. That is way above overweight. Okay, now going back to the question, they say alongside is an infographic describing different BMI. Where does SIPO fall on this scale? So now we want to check if SIPO is underweight, normal, overweight, obese, or extremely obese. Okay, now just to take you back to the previous question, you will remember that SIPO's BMI is 25.71. 25.71 BMI we calculated in the previous question is 25.71 kilogram per square meter. I think even just one decimal place would be fine. We need at least one decimal place so that we can tell. 25.71 obviously is not less than 18.5. We've got 18.5 to 24.9, so it doesn't fall there. 25 to 29.9. So 25, this is just a little bit more than 25. So it means SIPO is overweight. Okay, so this one, SIPO falls on the scale of overweight. Okay, then the next question is if SIPO exercised and ate healthily for the next 3 months and lost 10 kilograms. Okay, so it means in this case, SIPO started to get worried that he's overweight. So it means he had to start losing some weight. So they say he exercised and for the next 3 months lost 10 kilograms. What would his BMI be then? And where would he fall? It's supposed to be he. Where would he fall on the BMI scale? Okay. SIPO ate healthily for the next 3 months and lost 10 kilograms. Okay. Now, how do we approach this one? They say the BMI. It means now we need to calculate the new BMI. The formula for calculating BMI, remember boys and girls, is weight in kilograms, okay, over height in meters. That must be squared. Okay, you don't have to memorize the formula. The formula will be given in a test or in an examination. So what is important there is you should be able to do the substitution. Right, now we have to check what is the weight. What will be the weight after losing 10 kilograms? Okay, if you go back, you will remember the previous question. SIPO's weight was 70 kilograms. So it was 70. So this one, new weight new weight is 70 minus 10. So this is 60. Okay, now what about the height? Okay, will the height change? Obviously not. So we know that suppose height is 1,65. You will remember 1,65, so obviously the height cannot change. So when we go back, we say the height, not even supposed to be new, it's just the height. It's 1 point, what did I say? Suppose height, okay, just want to get it right. Just want to get it right. Suppose height is 1,65. Okay, just wanted to be sure, boys and girls, 1.65. Okay, then we do the substitution. BMI, it's now 60. Then we divide it by 1.65, and then we square it. 60 divided by 1,65. So if you take your calculator, 60 divided by 1.65 squared, then the BMI is now 22.03. 22.038. I think just one decimal place will be enough. 22.0. Okay, so it's about 22. Now we need to check. Let's check. What would his BMI be then? So the BMI will be 22. And where would he fall on the BMI scale? So remember, there's two questions here. The first question, we had to calculate the BMI. Now we've got the BMI. Right, now we have to check. So 22, it's now normal. So this will be normal. Okay, good. So what is important is we had to do the substitution and calculate the new BMI and also explain his new weight status. So it's now normal from overweight to normal because he lost some kilograms there. That is 10 kilograms. Okay, I hope so far so good, boys and girls. Then the next question, it's taken from Free State Recovery Activities. It's Jonathan is a 40-year-old male. He has been exercising very hard to compete in the Comrade Marathon and show that his body mass index is within the normal range. Okay, normal range for his age. Jonathan is 178 centimeters and weighs 82 kilograms. Determine whether his BMI is indeed normal. For men, you may use the following formula. Determine whether his BMI is indeed normal. Then how will we know if his BMI is normal? The table is given there. Okay, the table is given. This time it's not infographic, but it's a table. In this table, it shows the mass range. If it's less than 18.5, then that will be underweight. Anything from 18.5 to 24.9, that will be regarded as normal. 25 to 29.9, overweight. And 30 to 34.9, obese. And then for greater than 35, more than 35, it will be regarded as extremely obese. Now we need to do the calculation. What is our BMI? The formula given is BMI equals to weight in kilograms over height in meters, which must be squared. Let's check. Do we have the weight in kilograms? Yes. There's our weight in kilograms. Do we have the height in meters? There we've got the height, but the height is not in meters. So that's the problem. We can't substitute that value that is in centimeters, because the formula says it must be in meters. So we know about conversion, boys and girls. 178 centimeters, we need to convert it to meters. Then you should know by now that if we convert from centimeters to meters, we divide by 100. So if we take that 178, we divide it by 100, and then it becomes meters, and then this will give us 1.78. 1.78. We cannot substitute 178 because the 178 is in centimeters. We have to convert it according to the formula. Right. Then we do the substitution. 82. Okay, never mind the unit. Then we divide by 1.78. We square it. Let's see what our answer will be. Please make use of a calculator. 82 divided by 1.78 squared. Then I get 25.88. 88057 and so on. 057. There's our BMI. Remember, the unit is kilogram per square meter. Kilogram per square meter. Now, I think in this case, it's going to be much easier if you just round off to one decimal place, because look at the range. The ranges that are given there, they have at most one decimal place. So this one is 25.9. 25.9. Now we have to check if it matters in this case. 25.9, where does it fall? 25.9, it's in this range, 25 to 29.9. Okay, so 25 to 29.9. The question is, determine whether his BMI is indeed normal for men. Okay, so according to our calculation, this is overweight. So this is not normal, but overweight. So this is overweight. Okay, so I'm sure up to so far, boys and girls, you are now comfortable with the substitution in the formula. What is important is you must just make sure that whatever you substitute, it's in the correct unit. Whatever you substitute is in the correct unit. So we answered the question, is indeed normal for men. So this is not normal, but it's overweight. Okay, then let's see the next question. It's the following formula of body mass index is being used in the chart alongside. BMI, it's again weight in kilogram over height, which is in meters. We square it. Then they say Sechaba weighs 81.6 kilograms and is 1.6 meters tall. What is his BMI? Okay, it should be easy now. Boys and girls, the formula BMI equals to, we have to check, is the weight in kilograms? Yes, 81.6. It's our height in meters? Yes, it's in meters. So it's 1.68 squared. Then you just use your calculator. If I use the calculator, in this case, 81.6 divided by 1.68 squared. Then the answer is 28.9. 28.9 kilogram per square meter. I hope you are also using your calculator just to ensure that you're also getting the same answer. So easy as that. We have done a couple of these already. Okay, then that is question 5A. And then B, the following formula is still the same information. Then Sechaba weighs 81.6 and is 1.6 meters tall. In which category would he be placed? Use the graph alongside. Now again, in this case, instead of infographic or instead of a table, we are given a graph. Okay, but you can see that the graph also indicate the weight status. So you will see that this one is 18.5 and below is underweight. Then there we've got the green one. We've got 18.5 to 25, the two graphs, between the graph of 18.5 and 25, it's normal. Then from there, we've got 25 to 30, and that is overweight. And then there we've got above 30, BMI 30 and above. Remember, the weight statuses, whether they are given in the form of a table or infographic, they are not always the same. So you need to check, okay? The information is not always the same. You need to check them. Now, the question is, in which category would he be placed? Use the graph alongside. Okay, do we really need to calculate the BMI again? Not necessarily, because we have calculated the BMI in the previous question. The BMI is, or Chaba's BMI is 28.9. So we can just indicate that BMI is 28.9. 28.9 kilogram per square meter. We don't have to calculate it again. Actually, the question here is just we have to indicate the category. 28.9. So from below 18.5 cannot be there, so he's not underweight. Then 18.5 to 28, not there. And then we've got 25 to 30. So this one falls in that between the two graphs. So between 25 and 30. So it means he is overweight. Overweight. Okay. Basically, calculating BMI is the same, but now the interpretation, because the weight statuses are given in the form of a graph, they actually want us or want to see if we can interpret what is indicated on the graph. Okay, and then question 6. This one is taken from Eastern Cape, grade 11, November 2014. It was in paper 1. Then the information which is given there is Rondo, a 15-year-old boy from Nadia High School, uses the bathroom scale. So there's the bathroom scale. You can see that it's that analog one, the traditional one. Okay. As shown below, to measure his mass in kilograms. Determine Rondo's body mass index, BMI, if he is 1,832 millimeters tall. You may use the formula BMI equals to weight in kilogram over height, which is in meters, and then we square it. Then now you have to check. You say, now wait a minute. Do I know the value of the weight? Okay, when I read the scenario there, it's actually not indicated. But they said he uses the bathroom scale as shown below. It's actually alongside. There's the bathroom scale. But you can see the readings there. You can see the readings of the bathroom scale. So from those readings, we can actually tell what Rondo's mass is. You must be able to interpret. Now let's check if we interpret this. Boys and girls, if we interpret, just want to make it, just zoom it out so that you can see. Now we need to interpret. You can see that from here is 0, and then from 0 is 20, but now we have to check our intervals. Okay, now if you check our intervals, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if it's from 0, and then we say 20 divided by 4. If you say 20 divided by 4, because of the intervals, you check the number of so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 interval from 0 to 20. 20 divided by 4, you get 5. So it means each line there represents 5. So this is 5, 10, 15, 20. Then we've got 25, we've got 30, we've got 35, we've got 40. Right, but now let us look at the dial there. The dial is pointing at between 100 and 120. It's between 100 and 120. So now we need to check. From 100, this is 105. Okay, this is 105, and then 110, then it's 115. Okay, so it means it's just below 120. So it's 105, 110, 115. So that means Rondo's weight it's 115 kilograms. So we can just indicate that the weight is 115 kilograms. Now we've got the weight. Then do we have the height? Let's check the height. Yes, we do have the height, but we need to be careful because the height that is needed there must be in meters. But look at this one, it's given in millimeters. So there we've got 1,832 millimeters. Wow, we need to convert it. How do you convert from millimeters to meters? You should know now, boys and girls, we divide by 1,000. So if you take 1,832, you divide it by 1,000, it means you are converting to meters, and this will give you 1,832 meters. Okay, now we know that for any calculation in Mathlead, whenever we do the calculations, we do not round off anything until we get to the final answer. If any value is given with 5 decimal places, if any value is given with 10 decimal places, you just substitute that value as is. You don't round off. You will only round off after doing the calculations. Because in this case, some of you might make a mistake of rounding this one off and just say 1,8. Okay, 1,8 will give you a slightly different answer. So in this case, the expectation is in the end, you must get almost the same answers. So if you round it off, your answer will be slightly different from the one who's going to say 1,83 and also from the one who's going to use 1,832. So it's better that all of us, we use all the decimals. Then let me do the substitution. It's 115 and over 1,832. Then we square it. Okay, we square it. It's 1,832 to the power of 2, or 1,832 squared. Okay, let's see. We use a calculator. 115 divided by 1.832, and then we square. And according to my calculator, I get 34.2646 and so on kilogram per square meter. Then you can round it off, let's say, to 2 decimal places, 34.26 kilogram per square meter. So that is the answer. So for this one, at the beginning, it looked like the weight was not given, but we could read the weight from the bathroom scale there. Okay, then the height was given in millimeters. We had to convert it to meters. So it's very, very important to look at what is given in the form, or what must be substituted in the formula together with the unit. So that is the answer for question 6A. Right, then question 6B is based on the previous question. Use the BMI table alongside. Remember, it's that infographic to determine Rondo's weight status. So we have just calculated 34.26. So BMI is 34.26 kilogram per square meter. Okay, just want to check something. Yes, we said 34.26. Then if we go back 34.26. I think it's going to be easier if we make it one decimal, so 34.3. Because you can see that the ranges are given with one decimal place at the most. 34.3, if we check, it's there. Use BMI table alongside to determine Rondo's weight status. So Rondo's weight status will obviously be obese. It's more than overweight. Okay. So far, so good. Then the next question, question 7, which was also taken from the Eastern Cape Prelim Paper 2 of 2013. Then the following information is given. Miss Krill, an educator and coach for the girls soccer team at Eastville High School, wants to raise funds for the new soccer gear outfits. She came up with the idea of having a Miss Eastville High beauty contest. All the girls that are interested collected the entry forms from Miss Krill. In order for entrants to be successful, they must meet the following criteria. So in other words, for this contest, the following criteria must be met. It's the height must be at least 1.55 millimeters. This is supposed to be meters. I would imagine if the height must be at least 1.5 millimeters. So this must be 1.5 meters at least. So it means it can be 1.5 meters or more, 1.56, 1.7, as long as it's not less than. Okay, then the weight must be at least 55 kilograms. At least that one is correct. And then body mass index must be normal. Body mass index must be normal. Okay, then BMI is a measure to determine the best weight range for a person's health. After closing date, Ms. Krill recorded the following data from the entrants. Okay, from those people who have entered, this is the information. It also indicates that for BMI, we know this one, BMI, if it's below 18.5, is regarded as underweight, 18.5 to 24.9 normal weight, 25 to 29.9 overweight, 30 and above, it's obese. Then we've got the following information there. E for entrant. So entrant number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and so on and so on. So you will see that in this case, entrant number 1, the height is 1.56, and then the mass is 56, and the BMI is normal. Okay, you can see that this one they say N for normal, U for underweight, OW for overweight, and O for obese. Okay, let us look at the next information. Ms. Krill claims that some of the entrants did not meet their criteria. Is this statement valid or not? Use one example from the table to justify your answer. Is this statement valid or not? Use one example from the table to justify your answer. Okay, now if you remember the criteria, it's, if I take you back, it's the height must be at least 1.5 meters. The weight must be 55 kilograms. The body mass index must be normal. So for an entrant to qualify, must meet all these requirements. Okay, if one of these is not there, then it means the entrant does not qualify. Okay, so we've got, so that is 1.5 meters, and then we've got 55 kilograms, and it must be normal. It must be N. as indicated in the table. Now let us look at this. Is this statement, okay, claims that some of the entrants did not meet. Now which ones did not meet? Let's check at the first one. The height is 1,56. Okay, that is acceptable. That is at least 1,55. And then the weight or the mass is 56. That is at least 55. So this one, and this one, okay, this one meets the criteria. So entrant number 1. Sorry. Then for entrant number 2, it's the height 1,63. It's at least, so it can be taller by, it can be more than 1,55, or the height can be more than 1,55. So this one qualifies. And then what about the mass? 60 qualifies, then normal. Okay, entrant number 3, it's 1.55. Yes, this is acceptable. And then the mass 44, no. So that one is not acceptable because it's below 55. And then again, it's also underweight. So entrant number 3 does not qualify. Then in this case, they say, in this statement, is this statement valid or not? Use one example. So the statement is valid. Some do not qualify, or some did not meet the criteria. Like entrant number 3, because of the mass is below 55, and the BMI is also underweight. Okay, and then they said one example, but if you, because there's many of us, we can see another example. So let's check if maybe we can find another example. So entrant number 4, 1.70, yes, acceptable. Okay, the mass of 70, yes, acceptable. So entrant number 4 will also qualify. Let me indicate like this. So this one does not qualify. Okay, this one qualifies, this one qualifies. And then entrant number 4 also qualifies. Entrant number 5, does entrant number 5 qualifies? 1.52. It's less than 1.55. And then 52 is less than 55. And then this one, as long as one of the two, as long as the entrant does not meet the requirement for one of the 3, I mean, so that will be automatically out. So this one is out, entrant number 5. Entrant number 5 is out, and then entrant number 6 is in. It's 1.59, and then 60, and then 7 obviously is out. 8 is also out because of the overweight. Okay, even if we look at the other requirements. And then number 9, okay, is in. 10, 1.68 and 57 is in. Then 11, it's also in. 12, out. 13, in. 14, out. 15, also out because of the height. And then 16, also out because of the height. So that is what, but in this case, the examiner was only looking for one example, but we've got more than one example there. So yeah, so we just needed to check that. So for this one, in this statement, use one example. You can say entrant number 3 because of the mass and the BMI status. Or you can say entrant number 7 because of the BMI status. Okay. Entrant number 7 because of the BMI status, and also, okay, actually all of them doesn't meet the height, the weight, and also the BMI status. Okay. But you have to make sure that whichever entrant you choose, you give full information. Right. Then the next question, question 7b. It's how many entrants do not qualify for the contest? how many entrants do not qualify for the contest? Okay, if I take you back to this, we said it's entrant number 3. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's check if I didn't miss anything. So it's entrant number 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 of them. Number 3, number 5, number 7. Okay, number 8, number 12, number 14, number 15, and number 16. So there's 8 of them. So this one, it's 8. We just write 8 to also be acceptable. Okay. Then the next question. Show that the average, then in brackets they say mean. Okay, mean is the most common word that we are using. Show that the average mean height of the entrants who qualify is 1,62 meters. Show that the average mean, you know the average or the mean is sum of values divided by number of values. That is the formula for calculating mean. Okay, sum of values divided by the number of values. Now we need to identify our values. Show that the average height of the entrants who qualify, those who qualify. Now we have to check. Remember in the previous slide, we indicated those who did not qualify, but we can check it again just to be sure. We know that entrant number 1 qualifies, entrant number 2 also qualifies, and then entrant number 3 does not qualify. Okay, entrant number 3 does not qualify, and then entrant number 4 qualifies, and then entrant number 5 does not qualify, entrant number 6 qualifies, entrant number 7 does not qualify, entrant number 8 does not qualify, entrant number 9 qualifies, entrant number 10 also qualifies, entrant number 11 qualifies, 12, 13 qualifies, and then, okay, we said 12 does not qualify because of OW, and then 13 qualifies, 14 does not qualify because of the overweight, and then 15 does not qualify as well, 16 does not qualify. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them who qualify. So the sum of those values, which ones are we looking for? We're going to look at the height. Remember, the question is show that. The answer is given. We have to show if our answer will be 1,62. Let's see. Now the sum, it's for the height is 1,56, and then plus 1,63 plus 1,70 plus, after 1,70 it's 1,59, then it's plus, after 1,59 it's 1,60, plus, after 1,60 is 1,68, after 1,68 it's 1,67, after 1,67 it's 1,56. Okay, we need to count. In the table, we identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is what you must always do when you calculate the mean. If you are given 10 values, after adding up or showing the addition, make sure that you recount. So obviously this one we're going to divide by 8. If you take your calculator now, you are adding, make sure that you add all of them. 1.56 plus 1.63 plus 1.70 plus 1.59 plus 1.60 plus 1.68 plus 1.67 plus 1.56. Okay, I get 12.99. 12.99. Then we still have to divide by 8. So if I calculate it correctly, divided by 8, I get 1.62375. 1.62375. I hope you're also calculating, boys and girls. Make sure that you add up everything. So when I add up that, I get 12.99. Then I still have to divide it by 8. Then we get 1.62375. Now, the question was, show if the mean height is 1.62. So we get 1.62, but we know that in Mathlead, we can also think about rounding. This one, when we round it off, we get 1.62. So we have shown that indeed the mean height of the entrance is 1.62. So yeah, so that is how we calculate the mean. Okay, then the next question, it's question 7, still the very same question. So this is a very long question, still taken from the same information. Determine the median weight for the entrants who qualify. Determine the median weight for the entrants who qualify. So this time it's median. Now we know that median is the middlemost value of the arranged data. Okay, the middlemost value of the arranged data, whether it's ascending or descending, but as long as they are in order. Okay, so unfortunately, we still have to identify the entrance. Like we said, this one we used 1, okay, just to be sure, and then we used 2, entrant number 2, and then we used entrant number 4. Okay, we used entrant number 6. We use entrant number not 7, not 8, but 9, and then 10, and then 11, but not 12, but 13. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still have 8 of them to qualify. So basically, it's the same entrance as in the previous question. Okay, you'll remember in the previous question there we still have 8. So that one, I just had to redo it because it's in the new slide. So this one, we're looking at the weight. Let's first write them down. The weight of entrant number 1, we've got 56. We've got 56. And then we've got 60. And then after 60, we've got 70. After 70, we've got 60. Then after 60, we've got 61. And then after 61, we've got 57. Then after 57, we've got 62. After 62, we've got 55. So we need to count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We still have 8. Okay, for the median, remember we said the median is the middlemost value. So you can't take this data as is. So we need to check if it's arranged. Now we need to arrange it. Obviously, it's not arranged, so we have to start with this, either the smallest or the biggest, but it's commonly the smallest. In this case, the smallest value is 55. So we just rewrite 55. We cancel it out. Then when I check the next one, it's 56. Let's just cancel it out so that we don't get ourselves confused. Then after 56, we've got 57. Okay, cancel it out. After 57, we've got 60. Then we check, we've got another 60. Cancel, and then we've got 61. And then we've got 70. Is it still 8 of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I missed something. So that is why we always have to count again. So which one did I miss? You can see there I missed 62. So it means this one is supposed to be 62. Yeah, let me just cancel it and say 62. And then after that, we've got 70. Okay. Okay, so 61, 62, and then 70. So now if I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, there's now 8 of them. I almost missed one. So that is why it's very important that you count. Okay, the middlemost, we've got 8 of them. So obviously there's going to be 2 in the middle. So we've got 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 3. Then you can see that we are left with two values in the middle. Then we say 60 plus 60, then we divide it by 2, then we get 120 divided by 2, the answer is 60. Okay, the answer is 60. Now, boys and girls, in this case, the method is very, very important, because if you just write the 60 only, because obviously 60 is one of the given values. It's one of the values. So if you just write 60, the examiner would assume that you are referring to one of the 60s that are indicated there. Okay, but in this case, the median is actually none of the two. It's actually the one that is between, which is not indicated there. So that is why it's very important that you must always show the method of calculating the median. Yes, we know that if we've got an odd number of values, like for instance, if you've got 9, you've got 7, you've got 5 of them, there will always be only one value in the middle. So therefore, that one you can just write it down. But in a case where there's 2 values, you have to show the method. You have to show that you add the 2 together and divide by 2. Okay, so because the examiner might not give you full mark if you just write 60. Okay, then for still in the very same question, boys and girls, unfortunately, this is a very, very long question, but it's a long question which is based on the same information, but you can see that the questions are different there. Then for this one, it's although entrant number 8, so there's entrant number 8, meets the requirements of the height and the weight. So the height, we said it must be at least 1,55 meters, and then the height must be at least 55. She does not meet the criteria for the BMI. Okay, so now as you can see that the BMI is supposed to be normal, but it's not normal, it's overweight. By using the formula alongside, show why she doesn't meet the requirements for the BMI. So in other words, for this one, we need to check the value of her BMI and confirm it from the table. Okay, the information is given there. We know the formula already. Okay, so the formula is still BMI equals to the weight, which must be in kilograms for entrant number 8. For entrant number 8, the mass is 61, so it's 61 over, and then the height is 1,55 squared. Okay, this one, it's very easy. 61 divided by 1.55 squared, Then we see 25.39. 25.39 is what I get. Because what is indicated in the table is one decimal place at the most. So this I can say 25.4. Okay, so that we can easily compare. Okay, let's see the BMI is 25.4. It's indeed overweight. According to the weight status, it's indeed overweight. So 25.4 is indeed overweight. Okay, so yeah, that's question 7. All right, the next question. This is question 7. Okay, question 7, still based on question 7, the same information. They say at the time of the contest, the school had exchange students from America. Okay, at the time of contest, the school had exchange students from America. We know that some schools in South Africa are receiving learners from other countries. That's just to come and observe our schools, learn about the culture, and so on and so on. So that is the situation in this case. One of the learners claimed that they don't use the same formula. Okay, so obviously it's like in South Africa we're using the metric units. If you are using centimeters, meters, kilometers, the exchange student who comes from US or Britain might say, but we're using different units. So the same thing, even in their case, they say they don't use the same formula as in question E, that is the previous one. That formula, remember, is BMI equals to weight in kilograms over height in meters. And then we square it. We know the formula. They are using a different formula. Their formula is BMI equals to 703 multiplied by mass in pounds over height in inches. Okay, BMI equals to 703 multiplied by mass in pounds over height in inches. So they're using this formula. Then they say, prove to the learner that the metric formula, think about the metric units. The metric units, those are the units that we are using in South Africa, or those are the local units. For the BMI given in question E can be converted to calculate the BMI for imperial. Remember, metric to imperial. Now, imperial are those international units like pound, inches, miles, and so on, where 1 pound is equal to 0.4536 and 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. Now, what are we supposed to prove here? We need to prove it to this learner that even if they are using a different formula, they must still get the same BMI. The BMI must still be the same according to this. Okay, so the BMI must still be the same. Just want to check something. Okay, because if you can check in the table, like for instance this one, they just indicate the BMI, but they don't indicate the units there. They just say 18.5, 18.5 to 24.9, 25 to 29.9. Doesn't matter how we calculate it. Okay, so but in the end, we must get the same answer, right? So we have to do the substitution. Remember the answer that we got in E, the BMI, is 25.4. So the BMI that we got in E is 25.4. Now, are we going to get the same answer if we have to use this formula as well? Okay, are we going to use the same? Are we going to get the same answer? Let's see. But now this one, remember, the mass that we substitute must be in pounds, and then the height that we substitute must be in inches. Okay, the given mass from the previous slide, we know that is 61 and 1.55. Okay, So we've got 61 kilograms and we've got 1.55 meters. But in order for this to work, when we substitute there, the mass must be in pounds and the height must be in inches. Okay, so the height must be in inches. Okay, let us look at the conversion factor. We need to convert this. 61. How do you convert 61 kilograms to pounds? The conversion method, the cross multiplication method, you will see that, okay, 1 pound, we know it's equals to 0.4536 kilograms. And then now we want to know about 61. What about 61? This must be 61 kilograms. We want to convert it. Let's say it's W for the weight. We want to calculate the weight now in pound or the mass in pound. If I cross multiply, let's just change and say M. Okay. If I cross multiply here to find the value of M, I'm going to have 0.4536 M equals to, then if I cross multiply, I get 61. Then the mass in pounds will be 61 divided by 0.4536. Okay, because that is what I want, the mass in pounds there. So 61 divided by 0.4536. Okay, I get 134,47 and 97,178. Okay, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decimal places. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decimal places. Okay, must I round it off? No. Remember we said in Mathlead, we are not supposed to round off until we get to the final answer. The more you round off before you get to the final answer, the less accurate your answer is going to be. So in order to have the most accurate answer in the end, we must keep all the digits. So therefore, the mass that we must substitute there is 134,47. Remember, this is now in pound. This is now in pound. Okay. What about the height? Okay. Now for the height, we are given the information that 1 inch is equals to 2.54 centimeters. Our height must be in inches. Okay, so let's see. If you look at this one, in order to convert to inches, it means we've got 1 inch is equals to 2.54. Then now we need to convert this 1.55. 1.55 meters. But there we've got centimeters. So it means we need to convert this one to centimeters. 1.55, if you convert it to meters, if you convert meters to centimeters, you multiply by 100. You should know. So this will be 1.55 multiplied by 100 will give us 155. Okay, and then we know that whatever we're looking for will now be in inches. What are we looking for now? We're looking for the height. Let's say H for the height. We cross multiply. H multiplied by 2.54, we get 2.54 H equals to 1 times 155 is 155. Then we divide by 2.54. 2.54. Okay, then we say 155 divided by 2.54. So this will give me 61. Okay, so the height, I'm sorry about the mess there. The height will now be 61.0236. 2205. 2205. 0.05. Remember, it is now in inches. We can easily substitute. Let's see. Remember, we expect our answer to be 25.4. So we say 703 multiplied by, we take 134.4797,178. It's this one. Okay, then we divide by the height in inches. Our height in inches is that one, 61. So 61.02362205. But remember, the height must be squared, ne? So the height must be squared. Okay, so if you take your calculator, 703 multiplied by 134,4797,178, and you divide it by 61.02362205 squared. If you use your calculator, okay? So I'm going to challenge you in this one. Please take your calculator and calculate and see if we're getting what we're supposed to get. 703 multiplied by 134.479,717.8 divided by 61.02362205. Remember to square it. Then I get 25.38, 25.387. So whether we are using BMI equals to weight over height squared, weight in kilogram over the height squared, the height in meters squared, or we are using this formula, in the end the BMI is the same. So you can see that in this case I get 25.387, but the one that we calculated in the previous question is 25.4. Then we can see that when we round it off, we still get 25.4. Now boys and girls, this was a very tricky one, and it's very long, but you just had to think about what you were supposed to do in this case. We just had to look at the argument. What is their argument in this case? The argument is they don't use the same formula. So they don't use the same formula. They are using a different. So for this learner, the learner was actually thinking that if they are using, if she had to use their own formula, then the BMI would be different. But in this case, we can see that the BMI is actually the same. Okay, in the end, the BMI is the same. What mattered in this case, we just had to make sure that whatever we substitute there, it's in the units that are needed, like this one. Okay, so in this case, we can prove that this is also acceptable. Okay, that is an imperial one. And then we also have the metric one, the one that we use in South Africa, the most common one. Okay, so it's unfortunately it's long, but it's one of those questions that you should expect. That is, you need deep thinking, and you need to strategize, know how to approach a question like this one, so that in the end you answer what you're supposed to answer. Okay, so we had to prove. So indeed, we have proven that the metric or the imperial formula also gives us the same answer. Okay, so still on the same question. It's, what do you think are the reasons for people become obese? Give two possible reasons. Now, when we come to reasoning, boys and girls, just think of any reason that is relevant. We do not actually expect you to come up with exactly the same reason, but the relevance is very important in this case. What do you think are the reasons for people to become obese? Now, obese, we know that it's actually more than overweight. So basically, it will be almost the same reason: lack of exercise, eating junk food, and so on and so on. And then for the next one is, suggest 2 ways to people who suffer from obese, how they can reduce the risk of being obese. So obviously that will be the opposite of that one of G. They need to exercise. Okay, they have to check their diet, make sure that they eat healthy food, and so on. So that is one of the reasons, or two of the reasons there. Okay, then question 8. Right, I can see that time is not on our side, boys and girls. So this is actually, this was going to be a totally different question. So unfortunately, time is not on our side. I hope we'll find time next time to continue with this. But unfortunately, this brings us to the end of our lesson. And then until we meet next time, just remember that COVID is still out there. So you need to take care of yourself. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.